Oh, it is 11 o'clock.
Okay, let's go.
Everyone, welcome to the Power Half Hour. And today we are interviewing, again, one of our favorite people in real estate. I met our guest today, I think in 2010.
Yeah.
And, she walked into the Rennie office and, immediately I was like, I feel like I know her. I feel like I know her. There was just like some affinity right away. And I never say hi to people first, but I did that time. And, we've been BFFs ever since.
We
And
have
obviously
been.
you're,
Those were some great times.
yeah,
That was my
absolute great
very
time.
first day at my very first meeting. I think
Exactly.
Chris Rennie was talking and you looked at me across the table. You're like, do I know you? I'm like, we're in a meeting. We're in a meeting, John.
That's awesome. So without further ado, Toni Singh from Bel Air Realty, owner operator, mom of two, and podcast superstar.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
You're awesome. Thank you for taking the time. Everyone, if you didn't know, she just had a baby, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, she's about 3.5 weeks ago. Yeah.
3.5 weeks ago, and she's running on no sleep, and she's taking the time to chat with us, providing value. I know it's so tough because I already see, Crystal with Zoe, and it's exhausting. It's
Crystal's a
exhausting.
super mom. I mean, any parent, it doesn't actually matter to you if you're female or male. If you have kids and you're a parent and your family is something that's important to you, and taking a role in that, then it's going to be challenging balancing business and family and doing both at a relatively like high level,
Mhm.
um, where both of them get your time. It's a challenge for sure.
It's I don't know. I couldn't do it. I mean, it looks impossible to me. I get tired looking at Crystal taking care of Zoe. So
Yeah,
I
but you
don't
still
even know.
waking up at 4?
Well, I think what I do is easier. I just wake up, roll out of bed, and I do my thing. I do my routine. What's hard about that? Taking care of baby is crazy hard. So I'm much respect for women out there, working moms out there. Nina, I know you're on the call. She has a teenager and a 2.5-year-old just like
Oh,
Zoe.
that's
So
challenging. Oh my.
super challenging as well. Much respect. But for those of you who don't know Toni, let's get to know Toni a little bit. Toni, how long have you been selling real estate, and what's your background?
Sure. So I started selling real estate at the end of 2010. I met John in October of 2010. I joined at Rennie, Marketing and Rennie and Associates Realty. And I had no idea what I was doing at the time. I just would go to the bullpen every day and listen to what was happening. And then I just started door knocking and stuff right away. So that's when I started. But I came from a background in nonprofit, specifically in terms of dealing with organizations that helped women and children, or women in business and their families. And I had been in university for a long time. So you can imagine then when you get into real estate, coming from a university background where you're not making any money, if anything, you've had to pay for, I mean, I've been fortunate because my parents helped me, but pay for that. And then you get into real estate, and then it's very different in terms of the commission-based business.
It's huge. It's a huge shift. And obviously we want to know you're owner operator or operator of Bel Air Realty, and growing up in a real estate family, what was that like, and how did that influence your decision to come into real estate?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, I can't take credit for anything at the brokerage. We've got a great team there. They do all of the work and they're super knowledgeable. But what was it like? So when I grew up, it was a very old school mentality. I think everyone, if you've grown up around here, you might come from a similar background. My dad worked full time. He was a real estate agent, and then he opened his own brokerage. And my mom stayed home with the kids. So on one hand, my brother Warren and I were really fortunate because we had that love and support at home from my mom. But growing up with somebody that was highly productive in the business, we didn't see my dad ever. So I remember maybe we'd see him first thing in the morning when my mom got us ready for school. And maybe he would come home, and it was a credit to him to make the time to come home, give us a kiss at dinner time, try and eat with us once in a while, and go out. So I don't say this in a resentful way. When I got into real estate, I had a talk with him and I said, basically, I can't believe the amount of stress. It must have been very stressful for you to be selling at a high level, and then you come back and give us a kiss and then you're out again. You're out, you're dealing with clients because that's when they're off of work. Yeah, so it was interesting.
I mean, back then, I don't think Jim Singh is the father and the owner of Bel Air Realty. I mean, this guy's an absolute legend. If you guys have never heard of Jim, but you know, he sacrificed a lot. He sacrificed a lot to build the real estate business, and I would think growing up with that, you must have figured out in your own real estate business what to do and what not to do. I think which led you to become more balanced in your life and business, right?
I don't have the balance figured out completely. I just try and make time to do, have my family time and our real estate business in a more balanced, balanced piece of the pie, kind of. But what became really clear to me was if I was going to be in real estate, and I wanted to be helping as many people as possible, so as many as our real estate clients as possible. And it's really important to us to do that at the highest level possible in terms of service, knowledge, and really helping these people get what they want. And for me, when I got into real estate, it was kind of like, shoot, how do you do that? Because that it can take up all of your time. Then when I had a family of my own, I was thinking, well, I don't want to do that, achieve that, if I can't make more time for my family. And that's been a really big struggle. I'm sure all of you out there, if you're watching this and you have kids, and again, you can be male or female. It is slightly different in the beginning for new babies because they want their mommies, but it's a challenge and it's something that we all deal with. And I think even more so now because of everything that happened with COVID, where families were experiencing that firsthand if they hadn't already, right? I mean, childcare was not as readily available. So a lot of top producing realtors that we know in the business as well, they were faced with running their business differently. And also their kids were at home. So how do you balance the time and be present? It's a really big challenge that everybody deals with.
Yeah. And how do you stay present with your family when you got one baby in one hand and a 4 or 5 year old running around, and then you gotta cook, and then you have a phone, you're negotiating offers? I mean, how does that work?
I do that. And you know what? It's not the best way to do things. I try not to do that sometimes. So I've had conversations with my family that mommy's going to try her hardest when we're having dinner together as a family, because we do try and do that at least 5 days of the week, that my phone goes on silent, it gets put away. But John, as you know, negotiations on contracts sometimes happen right at dinner time,
right?
Because that's when the sellers get home. But I think it's a communication thing. So one, communicating with my family that I'm going to try 95% of the time to give you that time. There's going to be 5% of the time where it's not possible, because if there's a time constraint and it just doesn't work, I also owe agency to our clients, and it's an important thing. So I try and do my best. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. And also it's a conversation with our clients as well. They've actually been incredibly supportive. I want to give them 110%. And in order to do that, sometimes I need a little bit of quiet time. Like, it's not unreasonable for people to take a dinner and a lunch break. And that's what's so interesting about real estate, is that you're expected kind of to be on all the time. Part of that is due to changes in technology, right? Because you're so readily available. But it's not unreasonable. If you want someone, a lawyer, a doctor, functioning at 110% for you, you would expect that they would have adequate rest.
Yeah, exactly. And our clients, well, I'm not going to say all clients, but some clients, you know, expects us to be on all the time. And I think watching you grow in the 10 years, you definitely were on all the time. Have
you seen changes? It's been harder for me to notice them.
That's why we're talking today, because I've seen that balance in you. Nothing's perfect, and nobody is
so unbalanced before. It was brutal. Do you remember, John, I wouldn't rest. And that's why, separate topic, but I had those health issues because the business and providing for the clients and building our business was so important to me that I would sacrifice anything back then. Not people, but my own health for sure. I'd be like, well, I'm just not going to eat because I didn't finish those things.
Wow.
It's not okay. That's not okay. That's not kind to myself.
Jeez. Okay. So while we're on this, I mean, so it sounds like you did whatever it took to provide excellent customer service to your clients. No matter what it is, what I'm doing right now, the job needs to get done and I will do whatever it takes, everything else sacrificed.
So the biggest challenge was when I had my son Antonio.
Mhm.
That was it was around 5 years ago. I really struggled then because I had a difficult time being able to provide at that level. And also I had the baby at home, so providing for him. And at the time, we were trying to make as many meals from scratch, because then it's like health becomes important, not just for yourself, but for your family. And I was definitely, I think there was a couple of years there, I literally I ran on maybe 2-3 hours sleep every night for around 2.5, 3 years, because in 2015, the market was very busy as well. I was going on listing appointments up until I went into delivery, and I had booked listing appointments the week after. I thought I was going to have an easy labor and I'd be back to work right away, but it ended up being an emergency C-section. So I went back on the appointments, but I really shouldn't have.
Oh,
yeah.
What's driving you to do what you do at that time? I mean, why so committed?
That is a good question. That is a great question. I never really thought about it. I think for me, our clients' happiness has always been very important to me. And what was the drive for achieving at a high level? It was just more people that we could help. I wanted the business to run more efficiently, and at the time it was not. That becomes clear when you're very unbalanced, right? Because things will slip through the cracks, or if you have a family, it's like, wow, I'm really not succeeding there. At the time, I felt like I was failing in both. So I was able to produce, and I was still unhappy with those results, because I was not producing at the level that I knew that I was capable of, but it was also unrealistic. I set myself up for an unrealistic expectation. And I was providing for the family. So the one thing that had to give at the time was my health. And it was around 2.5 years of doing that to myself, where eventually then you have no health. And then you have to work your way back up. And then you're able to see where you need to improve. If you can take that on. It's not an easy thing to do, but.
And look at how far you've come. I mean, I just seen the growth and the balance come into your life, and your great family.
I still want more though, John.
We all want more, and we all want more. I mean, geez, how many people can relate to this? Guys who have kids or no kids.
I can see you. Yes, hello.
Woman in real estate. It's not easy, guys. So I just want to first of all congratulate you on all your success right now, and it's amazing what you've done.
Money, 100%. I'm glad you can relate.
Well, she's got 2 boys, right? So
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But why don't we jump into this? I mean,
Sure.
The growth that you've had over the last 10 years, working from 24/7, and then 365 to like balance, and then you had those issues, the health challenges, and then you basically have made a comeback. And everything is great right now. Not perfect and great.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect. It's not perfect. But so share with us your 3 biggest secrets or tips with the crowd, whether you're a young mom with 2 kids, 3 kids, just women in real estate, or even men in real estate. How do we have balance?
Okay, so these are some things that I've implemented recently. I hope that if you try them, they'll work for you. Might not be for everyone. The biggest thing, which is so huge, it's really helped me, is, so you know how we time block, John? Yeah. I mean, when we were real estate, no kids, you have all the time in the world. Do you remember how Mike Ferry used to say, cut the time in half, because you will find a way to get everything done? So the time blocking is one thing, but not just that. I time block a bit differently now. So I used to time block with, okay, prospecting, income producing time, lead follow-up time, lunch time, standard, these things. But now I time block around what brings me the greatest joy. Part of that is work. Part of that is my family. They're the most important thing to me. I mean, it's weird because now I have 2 loves and I have to amalgamate them together. So what I do is on the Sunday, I'll look at the whole week. You time block on that Sunday, like, listen, where am I fitting in my family time? I will book that time first. And then you book the work things around the family time. Now, again, it's not perfect because, as I told you, I've had the conversation with my family, which is I'm going to try and give you that time that I blocked off 95% of the time. There's 5% of the time where it's just not possible for mommy to be like, I'm going to have to revise my statement, but they know, and they know that they're a priority. So the time blocking, but plan around things that you want to achieve first. It doesn't even have to be family time, everyone. It can be if you've been neglecting the gym and you need that self-care, then you look at the week, you plan that in first, and then you plan your time blocks for work and achievement around that.
Oh, perfect. So
is that helpful? I don't know if you guys do that too, but it's really been helpful for me. I didn't invent it.
no,
I just,
yeah, no,
I've
no, no.
implemented
And it
it.
makes sense. Time blocking, you know, all we think about as, especially starting out, you just want to go, 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 go. And you're time blocking for your lead generation time, appointment time, lead follow-up,
Yeah,
pre-qualification, CMA, and then everything else in your life suffers. So
that's
guys, if
right.
you want to have a life, let's book your me time, family time, and then work your way around that schedule, or else everything else is going to suffer. Why do we work so hard? Why do we work so hard? Just so we could have family time. Why not book that first? Because that's important to you guys, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, it's
time block,
important to me. So that's been working really well.
I think about that now a lot. It's not about time blocking. It's about priority.
Yes, that was a different thing on the list, I think, because I think you said the topic was 3 things,
Right.
but I do think it relates to your priorities. Everyone has different priorities. So the challenge then is find out what your priority is, what your motivations are, and you plan around that. What's right for me is not going to be right for somebody else, and vice versa. So it has to be individual, important to you, self-reflection, and get really clear on what is important to you and what changes you're willing to make to achieve that or have that, because you can really have anything that you want. However, you might need to make adjustments in the way that you're currently living and being and doing things in order to have exactly what you want.
So is that number 2, priorities?
It was number 3, but yeah,
Oh.
number 2.
Okay, so guys, priorities, right? What's important to you, and really looking at that, and what are you building with that? Dig a little bit deeper on what's important to you, then your life will become complete. And if all it is work is important to you, trust me, it doesn't work.
Not enough. It's not. And John, you know what? One other thing to that, I didn't know that health was so important to me until I had no health. It was so bad. And so I remember my coach back in the day saying, get clear on your motivation, Toni. What are you motivated to? I actually didn't know until it was the one thing I didn't have. It's terrible. I'm a slow learner. And then I've changed everything around that, even eating for my family and myself, supplements, healthy eating, the amount of meals, those kinds of things. That's a separate issue.
Wow. So priority is health. Health is number 1. Well, and family.
Yeah, it's like integrated, right? Because health for all of us, I can't live and spend time with my family if we're not all functioning at a high level health-wise. There's too many stressful things that would go along with that if that wasn't the case, right?
Yeah, and I think like if you get your priorities straight, guys, what I'm hearing right now is that if things are good at home, the family is good, and your health is good, your business will become better as well. I used to think the opposite. I need to sacrifice my health, and I need to sacrifice my relationships because I don't care about anything but to do more deals and make more money. But in actuality, guys, if you get your family right, if you get your relationships right, your business will go naturally and exponentially. That's what I'm getting right now.
Can I say something? It's related to what you said, and I know that we're off topic here, but we still have time. The best year that I've had in real estate was when my health was the worst. Health was the worst, and it was very difficult for me John, I remember I was still getting up at 4:30. I was running myself dead and ragging. I remember one time, because we used to be on the old 4 a.m. club.
Right.
I was the only female in that group at the time. And I remember posing a question to the group saying, how are you guys doing it? Are you tired? But I was breastfeeding my first child at the time. Awake at night. I wasn't going to bed. I was going to bed at the hours that you guys were, but I was up every other hour, still waking up at 4:30. So I remember asking the group, how do you deal with it? I'm exhausted. I don't know how to do it. And the response was, and this is okay, because this was their experience, I let my wife deal with it. So for me, I'm like, great, not helpful for me because I'm the wife. I'm literally that person. I'm still trying to get up at 4:30. I still did it, but then I had no help. So then I got clear on, okay, this schedule is not working for me right now. It's not possible given what's important to me and the time constraints. I started saying no to certain clients as well. Not in a mean way, but just listen, I'm not the person right now that can 100% support you. It's not fair to you. I'm sorry that I won't be able to take on the business, or we would refer certain things out. The minute that I made more time for myself and my health, that was actually the best year, because it was the worst year of health, but income wise, I did double what I normally do, and I worked half the amount. I only worked for maybe 6 months of the year when I've actually factored in the time.
Wow.
Oh, I can't see that.
Oh, sorry.
There's a comment there, but I can't see it. Sorry,
This is
Nina.
why you are a winner. Such a strong female role. Thank you for your contribution.
Thanks, Nina.
That's great, Nina. Thank you.
It was just more so to what you were saying, and it was related. So I really resonate with that.
That's awesome. So you actually worked half that year,
I
half
did.
the time that year, and doubled your income. So guys, you don't have to work more to achieve more.
No, that was a mindset thing. And the reason why I worked half the amount of time was because I was in treatment. Like, I actually, Leilani, if you're still on the, I saw that you had commented.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh, hey, Denise. She, during the treatment and everything, I was still working, but it's just that I was picking and choosing what was important to me. And that's why I was able to, it was the best. It was the best, saying no and focusing on really what was important to me and being dialed in. It was a mindset thing. I thought I had to work harder before in order to achieve more. That's a fallacy.
Do the most important things first. What's important to us? What is my priority? And once you get that done, you're actually way more efficient. That's how you worked half the time and earn double the money. Guys, it is possible. It is possible. Okay, so that was number 1 and 3. What's number 2?
It's kind of related though, John. I might have to come up with another one, because so I would say that the other thing that I do, but it's specific to me and other people might not have this, because of the health things that I've already had, it's always a reminder for me. And sometimes what happens is I get so dialed into work again or family, like I'm doing the time blocking, but I'm just so into it that I need to stop. I'm like, oh yeah, it is time for me to take a break right now, because I'm starting to fall into the old habit of do all of these things and then set the goal higher and then do more things. It's a constant check. It's like, Toni, did you just do what you promised yourself, which was to stop and take a lunch break? Because that relates directly to your health, wealth, and the rest. So for me, it's also being really clear with how I'm actually being in the moment. And that I sometimes have to set an alarm, actually. I don't know if anyone else is like that, because I'll just keep working. Sometimes I'll set my alarm for my actual break. If I don't hear the alarm, sometimes I'll work right through. So like I said, I'm not perfect. It's a continual thing that I'm working on. That's been helping for me. And then the one other thing, it's a separate one, but it's kind of related, is because I know I have the health issues already, about once every month, I have more pain. So that week out of the month, when I'm doing my weekly planning, I will schedule less items, or I will prioritize differently based on what is urgent that week. So the schedule is really working for me now, not the other way around.
That's awesome. So you're in control now of your schedule. You're booking what's most important, and
priority
based on your health and what you can take on in that given week. You're not going to load yourself heavy for that week.
That's right. So 1 week out of every month. Yeah.
1 week out of every month. And I think it's such a good thing to do. And I'm starting to realize, okay, I'm going to front load my week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Fridays, you just chill a little bit. Are
you taking time off regularly?
Yeah, I am.
Good. Because we used to both struggle with that, I remember.
Oh yeah. I mean, we used to, again, 7 days a week, 12, 14-hour days.
24/7.
Yeah. And, you know, still waking up at 4:30 in the morning, going to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's just, it doesn't work. And that's when, you know, I got myself to medicines and I found out, okay, I have a high uric acid. I drink too much alcohol, too much red meat, not enough rest, too much stress, right?
Yeah.
So what's more important to you guys, right? Once you focus on your priorities, take care of what's important, then life will be easy. And you got to just have a schedule that works for you. Tony's shared with us her schedule, her priorities. What is it for you, right? This is very inspiring to, you know, women in real estate, kids or not.
I
Right?
hope that someone's gotten something out of what I've shared with you. I don't know if it'll be useful, but I am around if anyone is currently feeling the same way or you have in the past. I'm definitely around if you want to have a chat to see what kind of tactics you can implement to help your individual scenario.
I'm sure your phone would blow up. Young moms definitely can relate.
You can
And
call me, I'll pick up.
yeah, she always picks up. She always picks up.
Yeah.
All right. So any, I want to take open it up for a little bit of questions. How about we get Leilani, are you here? What are you discovering right now for yourself? Or is she not going to talk?
I saw her comment earlier. Oh.
Any
Thanks,
questions?
Nick.
I have a question, John.
Yes, sir.
I struggle a lot with taking that time off. I
Yeah.
mean, tremendously. Even though you take the time off, this thing is just going and going and going. Any advice?
I
I
want
have
to thank you
something, but you can
first
go
for.
first. You go first, John.
I want to thank you for asking that, Mario. And a lot of us on the call struggle with this. And you know, it took many years for me to get over that, Mario. And so I know where you're at. It took me my health, like a little bit of a red flag for me to say, okay, I need to prioritize my health. I'm a man of integrity, and I learned about integrity in Landmark. And then little did I realize, okay, everything else was good with my clients, with my business, and what I didn't realize was a blind spot was my relationship was out of integrity. My health was out of integrity. And once these things are out of integrity, you actually are not in integrity with your business anyways.
Correct.
Right? So you got to take the time off. So that's my share. What about you, Tony?
Well, I was going to say, it sounds like, Mario, that are you actually blocking the time off, but you're not able to turn the mind off?
I am blocked. I have a
Okay,
whole day
so
off, and I'm just going to relax. But yeah, I can't turn this
okay.
off.
So it's good. You did the first step, which is great. You've blocked the time off, but to turn the mind off, do you do meditations or any physical activity, or what brings you joy? What kinds of things make you calm?
Believe it or not, you know, the one thing I do is cut my lawn. That like takes me out of my element, and it just goes. You know, my daughter sitting right next to me and be like, "Dad, are you listening to what she's saying?
Hi.
You need to
should
pay
do that.
attention." I'm like, I know.
But this is the thing. You have to do whatever you have to do. So you've time blocked. That's the first step. The second thing would be whatever brings you calm and joy, like whatever it is, you should start with that. And then eventually the mind will turn off. For me, I have to dedicate only, not very long, 5-10 minutes of meditation. It helps me, but I need the quiet time. And sometimes I don't even know how much I need it until I do it. It does actually shut everything off. And I know that that's probably an easy thing to say, but it took me 50 times, 50, of meditation before I actually learned how to do it. I just kept doing it. Start with your lawn.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing. And Mario, I think, you know, he just reached out to me and said, hey, I want some accountability on daily contacts. You know, how about some accountability on actually taking a full day off? Right? Actually putting your phone away. And if you check your phone, you know, you pay your wife, pay Kathy, you know, $100 a day, something like that, right? Like, because you have no problem overworking, right?
A lot of us
we've
do.
been there. We've been there, right? So I think I would challenge you to actually have accountability on days off. That's my coaching and share. Thank you. So Toni, thank you very much for today. Again, You've been a big contribution to the Facebook community and our EXP group. Thank you so much for your contribution, and
Thanks,
we want
John.
to see you soon. If you're comfortable, we'd love to come by and see Stevie and Neil.
Absolutely.
And Dave, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. John, love you so much.
Love you. You're the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.